WTMA.
Now, here's more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I always like to take a little bit of time and just say thank you to those of you that listen to this program and rely on the information within it to help better understand the real estate process, to help prepare for buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And if that's something that I can help you with, if you need a quality real estate agent, my team and I would love the opportunity to earn your business. My cell phone number to reach me off air is 843-400-8009, 843-400-8009, or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com, and you can learn more about myself and my team and who we are and how we sell real estate. There's a lot of great information on there, and of course, every episode that we have recorded here at WTMA is on that site or on charlestonrealestateradio.com, and of course, you can find us on iTunes and Spotify and YouTube and iHeartRadio and Google Play and all that fun stuff. Check out our podcast, Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. So, what I want to talk about now are the homes that have a challenge selling. Maybe it's the house, maybe it's the market, maybe it's a hard-headed seller, maybe it's a lackluster agent. There's a variety of things that go into this. And I frankly, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this because I built my career off of this. I really did. I worked with a lot of sellers that had been on the market with other agents. That home did not sell. Maybe they'd had, 1, 2, or 3 other agents before hiring me. And I would come in and I would rebrand the property, remarket it, reintroduce it, actually do a lot of the work that can be done. A lot of agents love to say what can be done. I prided myself on doing what needed to be done to get these homes sold, and I did. And my numbers looked good, and my business started to grow, and things just kind of escalated from there to the point where now I've got a team of 20 people, and some of course are admin, but a lot of those are agents that sell in different areas and in different price ranges. And of course, I'm still selling real estate, but this whole process of putting a home on the market and not selling it is something I know incredibly well, and it's something that I would say I'm an expert in. So I want to chat about that for a little bit this morning. And if you have an experience that you've been through, if you've got something you'd like to share on this topic, you have tried selling, you know someone that's tried selling, and it hasn't worked out, or maybe there's something that you learned along the way when you sold your house that you'd like to share, the number here in the studio is 843-556-1250, 843-556-1250. And I do want to make the disclaimer in that I'm not asking you to call and have me diagnose your situation if you're on the market right now and it's not selling. If you want to call me off air and have that discussion privately, again, my number is 843-400-8009. But let's get into some of the reasons why these homes just don't sell. They sit and sit and sit, and it just seems like they're never going to sell. That's the feeling that these sellers get is, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're doing what you're telling us to do, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, but we don't have an offer yet. And we're getting a little tired of having people walk through our house to say the same thing time after time after time. Didn't like the floor plan. Was looking for a family room that was open to the kitchen. Wanted more yard space. Things that just are outside of the control of the seller. And so we'll sit down and we'll start talking, and I'm starting to ask some questions about you. So, tell me what it was that you guys really struggled to overcome with all of these showings you had and the feedback that you received. And also, how many showings did you have over the past 60 days? How many showings were you having on average per month? Well, I don't know. There are several times in which I'm just trying to gather some simple data. Answer is, I don't know. Well, is it the seller's responsibility to know? That's a question for you. And maybe this is something that can spark a discussion. Again, the number here in the studio is 843-556-1250. Is it the seller's responsibility to know how many showings they've had and what the feedback has been? if I hire somebody to sell my house, I want constant communication from that agent telling me how many people are walking through it, what they're saying, what they're not saying that's preventing them from making an offer. And are the number of people walking through my house consistent with homes that are actually selling in this area? Are we getting the average number of showings per month that other average listings in this area are getting? Are we getting more? Are we getting less? Where do we stand? That's just I'm really at the basics right now, but first step here is understanding where we are on this roadmap. What have people said about the house? What have you struggled to overcome when people actually did come and see it? And almost every time when I'm meeting with these sellers, and we ask about the process by which people are gaining access to their house, they say, well, no, we're getting some sort of automated call or text from a third-party company that agents use to schedule showings. And so that's a company called Showing Time. And let me tell you something right now that really changed the landscape of real estate several years ago. It's a good thing, but it's also kind of a challenge, and that's this. Several years ago, when people wanted to see one of our listings, they would have to call me, right? They would call me, and then I would call my seller, and then the seller would talk to the husband, that would call me back, that I'd call the other agent back, that would call the buyer back to confirm it, and it was just this long, drawn-out thing. God forbid I miss a phone call, and it's showing on my listing, so I had to have my phone surgically attached to my face, which is why I'm, not as pretty as I once was. But now we have these third-party companies that schedule everything for us. You just go online and you say, these are the homes I want to see at the times I want to see them, and the third-party company takes care of everything. So it's nice in that, I don't have to answer every single phone call every single time for fear that I'm missing out on a showing on one of my listings. But the problem is, agents that are showing properties to other buyers are not talking to the listing agent before that showing occurs. We're really just talking about the process at this point. We haven't even started to talk about marketing or pricing or condition of the home, but again, these are some of the things that you're not going to get this kind of information by going online and just doing a search for why is my home not selling or what causes a home not to sell. This is the deep stuff that you guys listen to this show for. And so here's one of the big challenges. You could theoretically have 100 showings on your house, and not one time would the person showing the house to the buyer and the person representing your house have talked. Could have been no discussion that took place. So you don't know the quality of that showing. You don't know if they're ready, willing, and able to buy. You don't know if they're paying cash or they're pre-approved. You don't know what they like or dislike about the house. You don't know what's drawn them to that particular area. You don't know what their situation is. If they like it and they're in a position to buy, can we expect an offer from them? There's so many different things that just go into setting up a successful showing. But if the agent doesn't have that system in place, they don't have that support in place to be able to have those phone calls repeatably and at scale, then it's just not going to happen, which is why you become frustrated at the fact that, hey, I've had 40 showings and I haven't had any offers. My guess would be that 20 of those showings didn't need to be there in the first place. Because here's the reality. In a world where our industry is changing, agents are constantly finding new ways of offering quote-unquote value to potential clients. And you know what one of those things is right now, until the industry comes up with another solution for it, which they're already trying on the West Coast, is getting into houses. So right now, the value that an agent can give a buyer, regardless of whether they want to buy something next month or next year, is, hey, you know what? Whenever you see something you like, you just let me know, and we'll go and we'll schedule a showing. We'll go out, we'll go out on a Saturday, and we'll go and take a look at some homes. Really get you familiar with some of the different areas. Well, as a listing agent, if I'm representing a seller and I'm asking the question, if they walk through the house and they like what they see, are they in a position to make an offer? And they say, well, no, they're probably not going to buy something for another year, or hey, they're visiting family. They're in from Florida. They'd have to sell their business, and they're thinking about retiring in 2 years, and they just want to get an idea of what homes look like in this area. Well, am I going to kick out the seller that has to come home from work to put the dog away, or, the family that needs to all hop in the minivan and drive around for an hour while you waste their time? Was really what that agent's doing? I can't stand that. And I know that is a huge issue with other people that are selling their homes, is just feeling like their time is constantly being wasted, and the lip service is constantly causing inaction and causing a transaction not to occur. And so we have some very specific ways on my team that we combat this. It's not rocket science. We have somebody that talks to the agents before the showings occur. We want to educate them on the house. We want them to point out certain things to the buyer, because realistically, that agent has never been to our listing before. Maybe they've never been in a home that expensive before. Maybe they've never been to a home in Goose Creek. We sell properties everywhere. I want to make sure that if someone's walking through my listing, I know more about them than they know about us. I want to coach them on how to show my listing and what makes that property so unique and what the sellers love about it that should be relayed to the buyer. And then I want them to understand that, hey, I'm here to answer any questions they have, and that I'm an easy agent to work with. And because I've been easy to work with, I get my questions answered, which I then can relay to the seller confidently, so that we know if somebody's walking through our listing, they're supposed to be there. We have an actual process in place. And so for all these folks that are just frustrated that they're not getting offers, they're not getting showings, I'm telling you there are reasons why. And because I've been doing this for quite a long time now, I can tell you more often than not what those reasons are to a T. The other challenge here is that your agent might know what those issues are. They don't want to tell you. They're just afraid to have those conversations. And so I want to when we come back for the final few minutes here, I want to tell you how that's impacting our industry. How we as an industry with a very low barrier to entry, by the way, are dropping the ball in certain areas, which is fueling the fire and market share for companies like Open Door and Knock and OfferPad and Zillow that's now buying real estate, and even though they promised us they never would. I'm going to get into that again when we come back right here on the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. And, of course, listingsincharleston.com is the website if you want to call into the studio with the last few minutes left. 843-556-1250. Stick around. We'll be right back.
More stimulating talk on real estate matters with Brian Beatty next on 1250 WTMA.